you and your wife were drinking a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And you got into a fight.
A friend stepped in to stop their battle.
She pushed my accelerator and said, look at my face. He's already been beating me. Please, please, please don't take him with us.
Does their reunion forgive the violence?
The police came, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you just beat her up.
No, ma'am, I did not beat her up. My wife's right here.
I won't believe a word she says to me.
This is Judge Judy.
Cowdery, is this your wife?
Yes, ma'am.
On what evening did you and your wife have this big fight in July?
I don't recall exactly what evening it was.
What date was it, sir?
It was, I only use them to read. I'm sorry. I usually keep them there. It was July of 2018.
What date in July?
The 14th.
You remember that date at all?
I remember that date, because that's my birthday, but I don't believe it was the 14th. I believe it was the 13th or the...
July 13th?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you and your wife celebrating?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You were both drinking?
Yes, ma'am.
A lot?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have a 9-year-old daughter? Well, she was 9 then.
Yes, ma'am.
2018. And she was home when you and your wife were drinking a lot?
Yes, ma'am.
And you got into a fight?
Yes, ma'am.
And he was an acquaintance of yours?
Yes, ma'am.
So your then 9-year-old daughter was so frightened that you and your wife were so drunk and fighting with each other that she called him, and he came over?
Yes, ma'am.
She had also called some other person, cousin, a friend. So when he got there, this other person, was it a cousin, a friend? Did you know that?
It was his brother's ex-wife.
My sister-in-law.
It was his daughter's aunt by marriage.
Okay. So her aunt came over and took her out of the house because just to get away from the two of you idiots.
Yes, ma'am.
Then the idea was to separate the two of you. Now, did you take him in your truck?
I was gonna let them both go hang out with me and my other roommate, Alan.
Well, why were you going to let them both hang out?
Because I was not going to let them fight anymore. They're my friends.
Well, why don't you just take one of them?
Well, they didn't want to do that, and they were fighting because of that, and I was having to break that fight up, too. So I said, well, they can both come. He went back to get a pair of cowboy boots. She pushed my accelerator and said, look at my face. He's already been beating me. Please, please don't take him with us. So I went to my house. I called a mutual friend that's more of a friend to them than me. I said, come pick her up. She's out. I can't even pick her up. And David come and picked her up out of my house.
Okay, so
I never even took her in. He got her off the back porch.
So somebody came and took her?
Yes, ma'am.
And you took him home with you?
No, ma'am. I carried her home, and someone picked her up at my house. He walked to my house and showed up 3 hours later.
So you took her home?
Yes, ma'am. David took her with him. I wasn't going to let her go in the house with me and my wife. David took her with him.
How did you get to his house that evening? Do you, just a second. Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am. Well, yes, ma'am. But first off, he did not take her to his house. And he just said, why would he take her to his house when he was just offering to bring us both to his house?
I asked you how you got to his house.
I believe I walked some of the way, but then a friend of mine picked me up and dropped me off.
Now, while you were walking in the friend, were you still drinking?
No, ma'am.
Were you finished fighting with your wife?
Yes, ma'am. I was just, at that time, trying to find her.
For what?
I guess to make up.
Well, you just beat her up.
No, ma'am, I did not beat her up. My wife's right here.
I won't believe a word she says to me. How did you get a hold of his truck?
He let me use his truck.
Objection.
Yeah, shh. So what you're telling me is the plaintiff, knowing that the two of you were drunk, gave you his truck. What did he give you his truck for?
He told me to take home because there wasn't enough gas to go anywhere else.
He told you to go... Jump. Bird, keep it. He told you to go home.
Yes, ma'am.
Instead of going where?
To find my wife.
But you were drunk.
Actually, at this time, I was not intoxicated anymore.
Nah. Anybody who walks instead of... Now your wife isn't at the house, and if you wanted to sleep it off, you could have slept it off in the house.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a child who's been removed from your house because of...
Yes, ma'am, but this was actually maybe 7 to 8 hours later before I arrived at his house.
It took him 3 hours to walk to my house.